familiar with the RB cards, they are a brand new world premiere theme. It's a machine-based theme where you get to summon your own like giant mech monster and interchange the parts that it has that have different effects that you can equip the parts. Well, not equip, but they're going to be pointed to. They're going to be linked to that Rebelbot Link monster, and they get their awesome effects that they'll be able to use to disrupt the opponent.
Yeah, when those cards are released, you know, there's not a whole ton of them. There's a couple of main deck monsters, a couple extra deck monsters, a couple spells. You wonder, you know, where is this going to slot in? You know, here we have basically the master of Cyber Dragon making the decision that in a deck that's already pushing almost 50 cards, he's up to 49, that the RB cards are worth incorporating. And I'm really curious to see exactly how he's done that.
Yeah, my favorite part about the RB cards is going to be the spell card RB Stage Landing. It's not once per turn, and it can just special summon an RB monster from your deck or extra deck. But it looks like Jermaine is going to be going second, but that he's going to be the first to activate a card. Going to start with Perilia, and the Perilia is really good against Vanquish Soul, and it's going to result in just a pass here from Jehovany. Now the field's wide open for Jermaine and his Cyber Dragon deck.
Salesman
in the main deck.
I don't know what he called.
Yeah, that was we were too excited about Salesman, but maybe he called something like Effect Failure, Nibiru. But he's going to start off with a Cyber Dragon core on normal summon. He's going to be able to add a Cyber Dragon spell or trap the hand, but Jehovany says no.
Okay, so it wasn't Ash Blossom. That's not unbanned.
He didn't Salesman. Yeah, let's go take a moment to talk about Salesman. It's very similar to Prohibition, if you're familiar with that old school card, but you get to declare a card name, and for the rest of the turn for your opponent, they can't use it, but you can't use it yourself for the rest of the game.
Absolutely. Ooh, polymerization.
Polymerization, removing to fusion summon Cyber Eleton and Cyber Dragon Core for presumably a Cyber Dragon fusion monster. Like I said, this is not a deck that we're super familiar with. Oh no, this is not the Cyber Dragon fusion monster. I think this is, it's a tough one to say. Oh, do you want to take a stab at that name?
Can I just call it the Mechanical Dog?
Yeah, the Mechanical Dog. Let me pull it up real fast. Let's see. So when this card is fusion summoned during the standby phase of the next turn, you can add a card from your graveyard to your hand. But when your opponent activates a spell or trap card, you can banish a face-up light machine monster or 2 light machine monsters, negate the activation if you control 2. Interesting. Really cool card. Like I said, we're going to see some things that we haven't seen before from Jermaine, and he's always playing like kind of off-the-wall strategies in his Cyber Dragon deck, but he loves Cyber Dragons.
I know, and we were told that Jermaine was playing Cyber Dragons. You know, there's, no pun intended, a core of Cyber Dragon cards that you look at that you often see. He's really going through just a myriad of different Cyber Dragon card effects, both in the main deck and his extra deck. So,
yeah, unfortunately, no RB cards here from Jermaine. That would have been really easy to get a lot of damage out there fast with the RB cards, but doesn't have access to them just yet. And during the end phase, Giovanni's going to activate Bestial Magnet, banishing that Cyber Dragon core. Does have effect in the graveyard, even though not able to use it just yet because Jermaine didn't have, or Giovanny didn't have any monsters. But now the end phase, Bestial Magnet is going to add a Bestial monster from the deck or graveyard to the hand, or any dragon. But we'd assume it's going to be a Bestial here.
Yeah, I think he's deciding between Jerusalem and Baldrake. Now that's one of the things that we're going to see in Vanquish Souls. The Bestials line up fairly well into the format. I think that's pretty evident.
There you go.
Yeah,
this deck wants dark monsters.
Makes
How
a lot
many
of sense.
Bestials is the right number? 2, 3. I mean, I've seen players elect to play, you know, 3 or 4 different in their deck.
Definitely. I'm always a big fan of like 1 Magnet, 1 Jerusalem, 1 Baldrake, just to have that different targets for your Magnet and stuff. But you can definitely go beyond that with how good those cards can line up against some of the strategies in the current format. So during the standby phase, he's going to add back that polymerization thanks to the Mechanical Dawn.
I'm not sure there are actually any Vanquish Soul cards besides the, looks like the field spell in his hand, which means he might be playing the old Bestial Beatdown.
I was going to say, Bestial Beatdown sounds good to me, and that is on the menu. He's going to banish the Cyber Eleton out of Jermaine's graveyard.
Special him in the Baldrake?
Yes.
Especially in the sense that he is playing against a strategy that has light and dark monsters, light especially. So if there are any decks that you're hoping to play against when you're stuck on Bestial Beatdown, it is a strategy in which you can inherently just special summon them from your hand without having to worry about putting darks or lights in your own graveyard.
Definitely. And now it looks like Giovanni's going to move to put his B-Seal monsters in the graveyard for a link summon of Nightmare Cerebus.
This is actually a really important card in the Vanquish Soul extra deck. It might not necessarily seem like it. It's a link monster that's been around for a while, but this deck may struggle otherwise with Babushka. So having a Link 2 monster that can help Babushka reliably is really important.
All right, so we've gone from B-Seal beatdown to Nightmare beatdown, as Cerebus is going to be able to attack directly after clearing out the monster out of the way. He discarded a copy of Fantastical Dragon Phantasme in the main deck. Maybe Giovanni's wanting to hedge his bets against Malice here this weekend by including a card like that.
Yeah, it's also just another monster that has just the proper attribute, right?
Yes.
Dark is an attribute that you really rely on in the Vanquish Soul strategy.
You really can like tech out your Vanquish Soul deck in different ways based on the attributes that you need. That's an important point.
Hand interactions like Ghost Spell is another. I'm not sure if he's playing that in his main deck, but that's Earth, right? It's just another one of those attributes that fulfills something that's not the case with the Molcharmies. It's one of the downsides of playing the Molcharmies is potentially if you go first
I will normal summon
and you have a Molcharmie hand, it might not line up attribute-wise. It's just not going to.
Definitely, but Jermaine's still not drawing any RB cards out of his deck. He needs the RB stage landing, but isn't able to find it, so plays pass back to Giovanni, who finally drew into a Vanquish Soul monster. And even though we talked about how he doesn't have to get the trap card anymore, he already has a copy of that brand new field spell, Vanquish Soul Start, in the hand, so he does in fact just go for the Snow Devil, because probably not anything else to add from his deck otherwise.
No, he does. He's not playing the Dust Devil, so he's only playing those two. So this is a brand new field spell, as you commented on earlier. It in and of itself is not a starter. However, if you do have another Vanquish Soul monster on the field, it can serve as a starter. And then in addition to that, you can set the trap card Snow Devil during the end phase. He's not going to be able to do that because he just searches it out, but sort of in the most ideal scenario where you're just naturally drawing Mad Love, resolving Mad Love by searching out Soul Start. You can then use Soul Start to get the plays going and also set that Snow Devil during the end phase.
Yep, and we see he is getting started here. Game on. Going to target his Mad Love so he can add a Vanquish Soul with a different attribute.
Absolutely.
Maybe he goes... So downside, you can't add Heavy Borger. Heavy Borger is also a dark, which is usually the ideal one you want to have alongside one singular Vanquish Soul monster, but he will get Vanquish Soul Rosin, which is still usable if he can find a way to spell some from his hand. The Nightmare Cerebus is kind of like being in that extra monster zones, holding him back a little bit from being able to go into Rock of the Vanquisher.
Yeah, I'm curious what type of Link 3 monsters he might have, or just other Link 2s he may have in his deck.
Thinking. Yes.
The Cerebus is one of those where it's like, okay, this is my out to Babushka. It's like, okay, well, it's on the field. What's next?
Yeah, it occupies its own, but it does look like Jermaine has a copy of Molcharmie Fuwalos, and that's going to be sent to the graveyard. So for the rest of the turn, if Giovanni decides to summon from his deck or extra deck, Jermaine will be drawing a card. Moving on to his next move, he already has the Heavy Borger in hand, so he's going to return the Dr. Madlove to the hand. Heavy Borger is going to come down. Let's see if he's going to use the Reveal a Dark effect to draw a card.
Yeah, well, we know he has the Madlove, so it makes sense to do so.
You may cut.
Make sure the deck is shuffled before he draws a fresh card to the hand. Heavy Borger is really the first card that sold me on Vanquish Soul. When I first read that card, I was like, okay, there's something here. If you're able to summon a monster from your hand that just lets you draw a free card, it also has like the burn damage you can do on the backside, which adds up really quickly on doing it on your turn, your opponent's turn, your turn again. And now he's getting that damage across, and getting any damage, as I mentioned, a Heavy Borger can finish off games quickly.
I mean, it basically is 3,000 life points over the course of that 2-turn rotation if it stays on the field. Plus, we're seeing some Vanquish Soul players incorporate a Nash Knight package that actually utilizes some of the Masquerade, the Umbrella Horror Masquerade out of the extra deck to be able to deal damage that way as well. So sometimes you just very swiftly can lose 8,000 damage when you combine multiple Heavy Borger activations with Masquerade from the extra deck, and then Soul Snow Devil also dealing damage as well.
Certainly, it adds up really quickly. But yeah, we really see like this Nightmare Cerebus is kind of putting the Giovanni in a tough position, because he really needs to be able to summon that Rock of the Vanquisher to continue his plays, to get the rosin out of his hand onto the field.
This guy from
That's correct.
This game.
Yeah, that's correct.
I will proceed to end phase.
Yes.
Pass turn.
All right, so just with the trap set, Heavy Borger on the field.
Drop the turn.
Yes.
He could dig through his deck to try and find some interruptions,
Same phase.
Yes.
or he could start trying to whittle away at Jermaine's life points. He only has 2,300 left, it looks like, so a couple activations from Heavy Borger could really seal the deal.
One interesting thing is that Vanquish Soul Snow Devil, if you were able to reveal all 3 attributes, technically destroys all monsters on the field. Now, typically when we think about that card, we see it and we think, okay, it's only going to destroy my opponent's monsters. Well, that's because it has a built-in effect of protecting your Vanquish Souls from being destroyed. It would actually destroy that Nightmare Cerebus.
Ooh. That's interesting, but we do see a sales ban. I don't know what he called, but then it's going to be followed up by Cyber Emergency, so he's going to at least be able to access the Cyber Dragon portion of his deck. Still no RB stage landing quite just yet. But Jermaine is definitely in an emergency, so he's going to be able to add a Cyber Dragon card from the deck to the hand.
And there are a lot of them that he can add.
There are a lot of them.
I can't even begin to put into words how many he has in his deck.
He also plays like the Cyber Dark cards. It looks like he's looking at Cyber Dark
Cyber
Jormungandr.
May I read that card? Absolutely.
Yep.
May I read that card?
And including this card, you have 2 in hand.
Correct.
Yes. Okay.
Giovanni giving a read of this. This is what we were commenting on earlier. There is a ton of different Cyber Dragon cards, and this is one that you may not have as much familiarity with.
So if you special or equip, it locks you into machine monsters.
Anything on resolution?
Yep, Cyber Jormungandr. It's out of Alliance Insight.
Nothing on resolution.
Okay.
So it does look like it resolves and it's able to add to the hand. It's a monster that can do a lot. It's going to be able to come from the hand to the field or equip itself to a Cyber Dragon. Let's see what he decides to do with it.
The special summon and then special or equip.
Correct.
In chain, I will activate Holy Sue.
Oh, here we see the first activation of Holy Sue.
Yep, Holy Sue is going to be able to reveal a monster hand as we special summon from the hand as a quick effect. So it looks like he's choosing to equip a Cyber Dragon card to the Jormungandr. Or is he going to equip the Jormungandr to the Cyber Dragon?
Attention, Yu-Gi-Oh! Duelist.
He's not going. He's just going to summon it, not use it as a equip card. Makes a lot of sense.
Anything in the open game stage?
In open game.
So one of the things just about Vanquish Souls in general, and this is the case certainly when you're playing into this, trying to keep track of what attributes that you know your opponent has. We saw both that Raisin and Mad Lab either be searched or returned back to the hand over the course of the last turn. So we knew this Holy Sue had the ability to reveal an Earth and a Dark, a Fire and a Dark Raisin, and Mad Lab to special summon a non-psychic, meaning basically anything but itself, from the deck. And now he's able to put the copy of Raisin on the field, which now allows him to search Caesar.
And more importantly, lining up. But smart stuff here. You can see Jermaine knows the Vanquish Soul strategy a little well because he summoned that Cyber Dragon underneath that Nightmare Cerebus. So he's at least putting Giovanni in a position where he's going to have to destroy his own card. But to his own advantage, because he doesn't want that Nightmare Cerebus there anyway.
Yeah, it's kind of an interesting quirk here that Cerebus may have been kind of interfering with his own plays. But yeah, that is very insightful, Billy. If you're playing against this strategy, you definitely want to be wary that Raisin gets to destroy within the column. But that's why you want to summon basically underneath the extra monster zone that the Rock the Vanquisher would typically be located. Obviously here we had Nightmare Cerebus, but that is something that's very insightful. The zones do in fact matter against Vanquish Souls, but that's enough there, I think, for Jermaine to pack it up there in the first game.
Yeah, he needed
Giovanni takes the first.
Yeah, Jermaine really needed to stick 2 monsters on the field there to be able to get going, but it was just too little, too late. Neither player really drew the opening hand they were like looking for. Nothing ideal. I mean, definitely unfortunate for Jermaine to have a couple of Mulcharmies, but Giovanni not really having any way to get going from the beginning was tough. And what it really came down to also was that Ash Blossom from Giovanni on that Cyber Dragon core really slowed Jermaine down a lot.
The other thing is Salesman is fantastic if the rest of your turn goes well.
Right.
Because then you don't really mind inherently playing a card that doesn't replace itself. But if you get stymied along the way, that's one less card, one less resource that you would have either had as an extender or an interruption. And as we saw in those games, having multiple copies of Salesman really reduced his card economy. In many ways, what people would refer to as just the amount of cards that he has access to. So when that next card, that Cyber Emergency was stopped by Ash Blossom, he just simply didn't have enough resources beyond that to continue.
Definitely, yeah, it's tough. I mean, when you're playing with so many cards in your deck, it's harder to draw. Like, sometimes you're not going to see those key cards that you need to have access to. Like, if he just drew 1 copy, like forced out that Ash Blossom, and then was able to use the 1 copy of like RB Stage Landing to just literally let you summon a Link 3 monster from your extra deck straight up into your extra monster zone, it would be really, really good. But he just didn't have access to that other portion of his deck. Only having the Cyber Dragon cards, Giovanni's Vanquish Soul monsters were easily able to take care of that. But yeah, hopefully in game 2 we get to see some of the RB cards, because that's where this deck really shines. They're really cool. I just like the idea of having your own like mecha robot out there fighting, and you're like interchanging the parts and utilizing those parts to either destroy cards on the field, negate a spell or trap effect.
Look at that necklace.
Oh, he has a
This
Cyber Dragon chain on. I didn't realize that was another. We talk. There's a lot of Cyber Dragon. He has a Cyber Dragon chain right there around the neck. I mean, I told you, if there is a dedicated Cyber Dragon duelist out there, it is Jermaine. He's come up to me event after event. You know, I'm doing good. I'm at day 2. You know, he's trying to get in there, and now he started off 2-0 at this tournament. Tough game 1, but he's not out of it just yet. I mean, for Jehovany, you know, he has to maybe a little worry. He's playing against probably an unexpected strategy going into this event. You definitely, in your preparation, you want to play against all the top decks, the things you think you're going to see. But then when you encounter something brand new, like the RB strategy alongside Cyber Dragons, it could throw you off.
I mean, he dodged that Perulia in the first game. You know, that's the absolute worst card for you to see, Perulia.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, often for a lot of decks, it's Fualos, but this is a deck that realistically only needs a special summon from the extra deck one time, and that's in order to go into Rock of the Vanquisher. If you are Perulia, though, it really shuts down so much of that first turn ability. So the fact that he was able to survive a game where he had basically no starters, it was Perulian, passed to a deck that's in many ways probably an unknown to him. There's, you know, probably
It could just be over.
it could just be over. I mean, that's just the recipe
Yeah.
for how you would lose to this particular game.
Yeah, I wish we knew what he called a salesman. Had he like salesman Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, maybe that turn would have ended out to be a little differently.
I feel like the cards, and this again, we didn't exactly hear, but the cards that I could imagine him calling are Nibiru and Droll and Lockbird.
Maybe even Infinite Impermanence, but
That card's not even being played in every deck right
yeah,
now.
that's true. That's true.
I feel like Droll is, and Nibiru really isn't even being played, at least as a 3-of, as I commented on earlier this
Yeah.
weekend. Sometimes it's just that 1-of in order to be searched off Granite, and you're not going to sales ban a 1-of.
Certainly not, but now the duelists have shuffled up side deck, and it's time to see if Jermaine will be going first or if he's going to let his opponent go first here in game number 2, round 3 of the NAWCQ.
Another just important thing to note is when you play against Vanquished Souls, you should use that as information for potentially some of the cards they may choose to side, because that deck needs to leverage just those 3 attributes in order for it to function as well as it would like, which means cards like, you know, DD Crow, Nibiru, they don't line up well into just what that deck is inherently trying to do, so you might not anticipate those cards being in the deck.
Okay, so I heard it this time. I made sure to listen. Droll and Lockbird.
Droll and Lockbird,
So
okay.
that's probably what he called on the previous game as well. He's going for the high impact disruptions from the hand. And now he's going to discard the Cyber Dark Chimera. Is it the Cyber Dark Claw? I think that's Claw, but it's able to add a Cyber Dark card from the deck to the hand. Very good Cyber Dark.
That is indeed Claw. I don't think he has Droll and Lockbird in his hand, though. It looks like there might be maybe a Phantasma in there.
Cyber Dark Realm.
All right, he's going to add Cyber Dark Realm from the deck to the hand.
Looks like there is a Holisu in his hand, though, which he can summon on this turn if he has the Pearly, the proper attributes to go along with it. That Earth and Dark to take control of a monster, and maybe potentially that Fire or Dark initially.
Yep, so the Cyber Dark Realm is going to continue his plays to be able to access another Cyber Dark monster with a different name from the one in his graveyard. And it also gives him an extra normal summon for Cyber Dark monsters.
What language is it?
It's Italian.
Italian?
Yeah.
Do you mind if I look at the card?
Polynesian.
Yeah.
So he's getting the translation for the card, I think, but when he found out it's Italian, Jehovany might be able to read a little bit of Italian. You might know a little bit about that, G. Orlando.
Yeah, just a little bit. Not fluent, don't even pretend, but...
But it looks like he's at least going to attempt to read it in Italian. I can't. I've done the same thing with French cards where I'm like, oh, I can read it. And I'm like, maybe I should just read the English one just in case.
Maybe a lot of viewers at home can relate to this, but let's just say I picked up on some very particular Italian words growing up at those large family gatherings for the holidays.
That's awesome. Yeah.
And then if you equip, you're going to equip from the opponent's... Okay, yeah. So it's Cyber Dark from the opponent's graveyard.
Anything for resolution?
No, you're good.
Okay.
So he does ask for resolution on summon, though, of course, as we know, Droll and Lockbird has been banned for this particular turn.
All right, let's see what Cyber Dark he's going to go for. Maybe Cyber Dark Worm could be the case here. Looks like it's Cyber Dark Chimera, though.
Additional normal summon of the Cyber Dark monster.
Yes.
So he's going to use his extra normal summon here on Cyber Dark Chimera. Cyber Dark Chimera can discard a spell or trap to add a power bond from your deck to your hand.
which we know is included in this Cyberdark deck, so, or the Cyber Dragon Cyberdark variant.
This is an activated effect.
And for the rest of the turn, he'll be able to fusion some using monsters from his graveyard and be able to banish it, kind of similar to the Lunalight Masquerade.
Once I get the translation, I'll have a potential response. Yeah.
Looks like all of his cards might be in Italian.
I like his style.
And for the turn, you can
Sorry, thanks to
only
things like
use
Yu-Gi-Oh!
the
Neuron, it's
dragon,
really easy to look up cards and read
then
their
banish
text.
from the graveyard material.
And I wish
So
I
if
had
you
that
activate
when
the
I
effects, you
was a
get
much
the
more
rest of the
active
turn.
player.
Smartphones
I do
changed
have a
everything.
know.
I remember dueling
I will
with
activate
pre-smartphone,
Holy
yeah. But it looks like this is gonna finally prompt the response, and we're gonna see Vanquish Soul
revealing
Holly
that
Sue
one.
be activated. Reveal another Vanquish Soul monster, special summon it
Anything in
from
the
the
open game
hand.
So this is a
Nothing in the
relatively low
I use
percentage
Holy
thing that
Effect,
can happen,
revealing,
but it is something you need to be aware of.
raising
For this to
the mana
happen,
to special
you're going to
effect.
need your opponent to have a Holly Sue, so
Yeah,
have a
response.
naturally
No
drawn it.
response.
Okay.
For this to be an interaction, they either already need an Earth and Dark monster, which
raise
again, it's a
effect
deck
on
filled with
summon
Earth and
to
Dark
search.
monsters.
Mm-hmm.
Or alternatively have a Fire and Dark monster so that they can summon the Raise, in which we see here, which can usually then add the Earth monster that you
I will
need
use
because you would have
Caesar
already
Valis.
needed a Dark
Okay.
monster in order to summon it in the first place.
There is an Earth monster he's adding it, just as you
Yeah.
said.
Anything in an
Yeah.
open game state?
So now he's going to, in this
I
open
will
game
use
state,
Raising
reveal
Effects,
an Earth and a
revealing
Dark
Fire.
monster and take
destroy the
control
monsters
of
in
the
the
Chimera.
Okay.
And it even puts, oh, he's using the Rosin
he's using the
effect to
Rosin,
destroy
okay,
it in the
yeah,
column.
yeah.
But it even puts the Caesar Valleys in the hand to
Yeah.
also
That
be
is
summoned
very good.
for another disruption on Jermaine's first turn.
Yeah.
Jermaine and Giovanni, they both have very similar names, so I'm
Yeah.
trying to like stay focused on them, not say their names together.
Don't throw
Lots
my
of
last name
J's.
into that sentence.
It's almost like a J. G Orlando? J Orlando?
Yeah.
Close. But here's the Cyber Dark Worm. So now that the Chimera went to the graveyard, it lets him add a Cyber Dark of a different name as well. So we're getting the Cyber Dark flow will continue. Cyber Dark Worm, kind of similar to a Mathmech Circular, where you're able to special summon it from your hand by sending something to the graveyard. Well, it just sends it to the graveyard, it looks like. But then you get to add a card back from your graveyard.
Mathmech Circular is a fan favorite.
Yeah, especially that kind of effect has become like notorious
Yeah.
with a lot of Yu-Gi-Oh cards for a lot of different themes.
We had that conversation yesterday about like the original one gets to just be like Stratos now. That term, that name is now just used throughout all of
Circular.
Yu-Gi-Oh history. Circular will be one of those as well.
So it can summon from the graveyard, it looks like. So he's going to be able to send the Cyber Dragon core to the graveyard to special summon it back.
His effect's only once per turn, correct?
It's only one per turn, yes.
And then he can add a Cyber Speller Trap from his graveyard to his hand if he has one in there. But I don't think he's put one in there just yet.
This is insightful also. No, he just verified that Raisin is only a once per turn effect. So he elected just to put it into that column. You know, he doesn't know if there's maybe other effects. I know there's a spell and trap
anything
destruction
on the
effect too that also matters for the column. So, but it is just important to note that you're going to put a monster in that column to double check that it's only once per turn.
Yep, and now since he has a continuous spell on the field, he's going to Link Summon for Clockwork Knight to try and use its effect there. And that's going to be met by a Fantastical Dragon Phantasme. And that's going to let him draw some cards.
I will draw 2 and shuffle 1 back.
But Jermaine will still be able to use the Clockwork Knight effect to add a card from his deck to the hand. That's going to be not the same Clockwork Knight, but the spell card Clockwork Knight.
You see him actually
Night.
thinking about putting back the there can only be one.
Okay, so I'll resolve.
Really good card in Vanquish Soul, since all the different attributes for sure. Phantasme let Giovanni dig a little deeper into the deck. We still haven't seen an RB stage landing. I'm hoping it's just waiting in the weights in the hand.
On the resolution,
Yes.
do you have anything?
Nothing.
I will use Caesar Valius. I will target the Holy Suit.
It might not look like it, but I just want to remind the viewers that this is Jermaine's first turn.
Vanquish Soul can play a lot if you draw the right combination of cards on your opponent's first turn, especially with Holly Sue straight out of Duelist Advance.
It should also be noted that imagine how many cards you would have drawn if Jermaine had opened. Not that this is necessarily the best thing to do, but with Perulia.
Yeah, definitely. The Perulia would have saved him here in this game.
Which is not something you usually
Going
say go
first,
first. Yeah,
yeah.
not something you normally say.
But you might as well use it.
activate
Use it or lose it pretty much when it comes to that in your hand once you establish a field. But now he's going to activate the Clockwork Knight, so all monsters are going to become machine monsters on the field.
Just attack
Attack and defense.
and defense.
Yes.
That's fine.
Nothing on resolution?
Yes.
Let's see where he goes next.
Caesar Valius.
If he just needs to get a couple monsters
reveal,
on the field too to be able to maybe
one
Link
Earth
Summon
to
for
make
the
him
Link 2
unaffected,
for
and
RB.
then- Or reveal.
You can contact for
one of
Chimera
each of
Tech
the
too,
3 attributes.
if he has a Cyber Dragon.
That could be something that
Non-targeting
Jermaine's looking to do.
What's the public knowledge that I noticed in your hand so far?
I revealed 4 Holy Sue and Raisin Fire Dart. I revealed Mad Love, Raisin, Holy Sue.
Okay.
Just the kind of courtesy of double checking what cards have been revealed for the Vanquish Soul cards.
I will.
He still has his normal
Regular
summon. He
normal
only
summon.
uses extra normal summon before, so
Normal.
now he's going to use his normal summon on Droll and Lockbird. He did Sales Ban
I
Droll and
know.
Lockbird, so he won't be able to use that for the remainder of the duel, but you can still normal summon it.
Yeah, you're not activating any effects.
2 cards in hand, correct?
That is kind of where Prohibition and Sales Ban differ from each other.
So that is fine.
It is kind of funny to see that, though. You Sales Band roll with it in your hand.
Shout out to Drollbird. It came in with a couple times.
Clockwork Knight. Tribute for cost to target.
Kind of reminds me of like Christian Urena. I think he put Drollbird on his deck list last year for the points playoff instead of Droll and Lockbird. So I've seen Drollbird before. I played these games before, and now Ghost Bell is going to stop. But called by the grave for Ghost Bell.
The 1 out of 49.
That is fine.
So
One thing to note just about Vanquish Souls in general, if they're low on resources, every hand interaction they use, that's one of those 3 key attributes, Fire, Dark, and Earth, can actually stymie their future plays. So that's just something to note if you're ever playing against this strategy, that every time they were to use something like Ghost Spell, you should register like, okay, that's one less Earth monster they could potentially have in their hand.
all right, revealing the 3 different attributes to go after Cyber Dragon Core here with Caesar Valius and send it right back to the graveyard from which it came.
Thinking.
It's like Jermaine is slowly running out of resources somehow on his first turn. I'm just so amazed. This is really just the perfect testament to some of the high upside that the Vanquish Soul strategy has. You know, if you're one of those players that likes the idea of having hand interactions that are in-engine, in addition to just the natural hand interactions like Bestials and Ghost Bell and Ash Blossom, this might really be the strategy for you, because think about just how much Giovanni's been able to accomplish here on essentially his turn 0. You know, he hasn't even had his first draw phase yet.
It's our turn, not just your turn right now, but Jermaine, just sets it. I mean, this is heads up by Giovanni, not letting Jermaine stick a Cyber Dragon card or ever getting 2 machine monsters on the field to really progress his plays, and that's just going to stop Jermaine. He wasn't able to draw any RB cards. Like, the RB cards kind of like help the fact like when they're able to take your monsters off the field, when you can activate something like RB Stage Landing, just to special summon an RB monster like that for free, but unfortunately not.
Standby main phase.
So he's going to take out the spell and trap card there, and now he's going into the main phase. He's going to use Raisin to reveal the Fire and Dark to destroy the Clockwork Knight.
I have this. This is
Jermaine's RB Cyber Dragon strategy might be about to be vanquished here after his life meter is depleted down to 0. Holly Sue's going to activate the effect, and it's looking like Vanquish Soul's moments away from being able to take this. But this is only going to be Jermaine's first loss, so he will be able to move on after this.
Now, we heard earlier that he has made day 2 before, I presume, with Cyber Dragon. So,
Oh yeah, of course.
yeah, his tournament's not over yet.
Yes.
18 from Ryzen.
All your monsters lose 500 attack and defense.
Yes. 13.
All right, so maybe it's not enough with the minus 500. It's still a lot of damage. I'm going to let them do the math.
There's also Heavy Borger on the field, so,
Yeah, so an
he
extra-
only needs 5,000.
Yeah, it's for sure all she wrote.
24.
19.
19.
That's
What's interesting, Heavy
20.
Borger actually requires that you return a non-machine. It didn't matter in this game, but all of his monsters would be machines, right? With Clockwork on the field.
Oh,
It's just an
yeah.
interaction that could have happened in this particular duel. That
Because he just
matter
summoned it
for
from
him.
his deck here with
he
Holly
did,
Sue,
indeed,
right?
Yeah, yeah.
And then Burger effect, reveal fire, Earth.
Burn for
Yep,
1,000.
Burger effect to burn for the last amount of damage. And the fighting game strategy, Vanquish Soul is going to take down Jermaine in his RB Cyber Dragon strategy.
least they ain't
You
going
see the
to
quick
let you
fist bump in there. His friends cheering him on in the crowd. And Giovanni will be moving on
Cyber Dragon, I didn't see that
3-0
coming.
with
I was
Vanquish
like-
Soul here at the NAWCQ. But yeah, we got to see a little bit more of Jermaine's deck there in game number 2, but having the salesman in the main decks calling like just a card that wasn't the disruption in the hand, that's rough because you're already basically starting down a card. And yeah, maybe if that Droll and Lockbird in Jermaine's hand was RB stage landing, we could have really seen what the deck's capable of. I'm sure he drew some of those RB cards in the first couple rounds, which is why he started off 2-0, but they just weren't there for him in this match.
Yeah, I like Salesman. I see it gaining popularity in the side deck. I just don't think this necessarily was the situation for it. And I think if you were, if you just cut those cards, kind of lowered the deck count, that would increase the
Move them to the side deck.
move them to the side deck. That might increase the odds of drawing some of those RB starter cards.
Yep.
And I think the outcome could have been a little bit different there. But on the other side of it, what we just watched out of Vanquish Souls is everything you hope for. I mean, that was literally the perfect. I have opened my Holly Sue. I have all the attributes I need. I'm using Caesar on your turn. I'm using Raisin on your turn. I'm starting my turn with all of my Vanquish Souls basically already on field, and my opponent's resources have been diminished. It's the most ideal opening turn we could have seen from that deck.
Yeah, I mean, you hit the nail on the head there. Like, really, that's what's changed. Like, before Duelist Advance came out, Vanquish Soul was a deck. It's been popular in the past, but it hasn't been like anywhere near the top of the meta game for quite some time. But with that a brand new Holly Sue and the field spell, and even a new rank 4 to play around with too, which we haven't seen much of yet, but the big impact is the Holly Sue. Like, being able to summon from your hand, special summon a monster from your deck that is a form of interruption while establishing monsters on the field, and you're getting the Rosin, which is, a destruction effect in its own, and can add another Vanquish Soul to your hand. You just get so much before your turn even starts.
Previously, you would have to use Rock to kind of select what zone you would put Rosin in during the opponent's turn, but now you just have a second way to manipulate which monster zone you're using, so you can line it up whenever you need. So that's one interaction there, plus the take of your opponent's monster. So that just leads to two great forms of interaction on your opponent's turn.
That's right, and I think we're ready to hear from Giovanni here with his 3-0 start in the tournament, so I'm going to let our host take it away and hear from Giovanni, our winner of round 3 here at the NAWCQ.
Thank you very much. I'm live here with Giovanni. Congratulations on your feature match win. And I want to start off with Vanquish Souls, a very fun and newer deck with the addition of Holly Sue to it. One that we haven't seen yet on feature match. I'm curious your thoughts as to why you wanted to bring that to the tournament.
Originally, I was going to actually bring Punk Fiendsmith, but because I really love Rising Scale. It was a really good addition to the deck. And then I was kind of iffy about it. My friends were like, here's the cards. They just threw them at me. I was like, man, these cards cost me a small arm and a leg. And then I was like, I was going to troll them, and I was going to bring Rescue Ace Fiendsmith. What was it? Love me some Impulse. And they were like, no, you already have all the cards. You already have all the cards. You just need the common field spell and the Holy Sue, and then the rocks. And that's it. That's the deck.
Well, you piloted it incredibly, so it seems like that was natural for you up on stage. But okay, you mentioned the Impulse, because that was also your fun fact. Do you think Rescue Ace Impulse is better than Dominus Impulse? I'm going to need you to explain this to me in the stream.
If you're going second and you hit them with an Impulse,
Which one?
The less good one, the Dominus one. They have to have something. They do have to have something on field. So you are getting rid of a card in your hand to stop them, which is basically the same as just having an Ash Blossom.
It's like a 1-for-1.
It's a 1-for-1. If I activate Impulse, I summon my Fire Engine.
Rescue Ace Impulse.
Yes, my Rescue Ace Impulse. And then I special summon my Fire Engine. If they try to play, if they continue to play, I'm grabbing my Airlifter. I'm grabbing my spell. And then or if I wanted to, if I already have play, I can grab back my Impulse in the graveyard, my Rescue Ace Impulse, and then I can just lock out the highest attack monster.
A great breakdown of Rescue Ace Impulse for the man playing Vanquish Soul today. So maybe next time, maybe next event you'll be able to pull that one out. I want to get to know you a little bit more, though, because this is the NAWCQ. Everyone earned their points in a different way. How'd you earn your points to get the invite, or rather just get the invite? Which regional or YCS did you top?
I topped the Duluth regional. We had not had a regional in quite a long time. Every time we go to a regional, we either have to go all the way down south, or we drive a little bit up to South Carolina.
Okay, interesting, cool. Well, happy to have you here regardless. And again, you won your feature match. You seemed relieved afterwards. You said, okay, hard part's over. What was the hard part for you?
Was it being on feature match? I'm not particularly fond of being on camera.
Well, you did fantastic. Thank you so much for coming on, Giovanni. The crowd loves you. Congratulations on the win. Let's go back to the casters.